Good evening and welcome to BackChat. I'm your host, Tema Madima. This evening we're chatting to Shaun Bownes, a legend in the South African athletics community. He is, one of the best we've ever had. You'll hear when I introduce him properly. He's done almost everything you can think of. He's here with us this evening. He sent me a request and we're gonna go live with a good one. Welcome everybody. Welcome to BackChat. Proudly hosted by Backtrack. Hope you guys are doing good. We're gonna have amazing time. There we go.
Technology got me.
Technology, Madala.
Old people. I can just imagine how all the guys are gonna make fun of me tomorrow at the session, but that's okay. They must remember I'm the guy that's writing the programs.
Yeah.
So if they give me too much stick, then I'm gonna chase them.
I won't even tell them what happened, Coach. We'll just carry on. They don't have to know what was the problem. We're back and we're live. That's all that matters.
That's good. Thanks for having me.
What I'm gonna do? No, it's definitely a pleasure. Thanks so much for joining us. You are a legend. I know you're also busy working, doing great work, coaching athletes as well now. So it's definitely an honor from our side. And yeah, look forward to this chat.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
All right. So what I need to do, Shaun, before we get started, I have to do an introduction. This introduction is just so that for these young bambinos who are watching, who don't know what's happening, and who don't know who you are, they'll get a good idea of who you are. Is that fine?
Yeah, 100%.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, with us this evening, we've got Shaun Bownes. Listen up. He is an Olympian. He is the Commonwealth Games 110-meter gold medalist, World Championship 110-meter hurdles finalist, World Indoor Championship 60-meter hurdles bronze medalist, World Continental Cup 110-meter hurdles finalist, also the African Championship 110-meter gold medalist, African Championship 110-meter silver medalist, All African Games 110-meter bronze medalist, and 5-time SA champion. Ladies and gentlemen, Shaun Bownes.
That's a mouthful.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah.
I mean, you've done it. So that's you. No, it's an honor, like I said, to have you here. I think those who are watching will attest. I mean, that CV is phenomenal. What you've been able to do on the track as an athlete is phenomenal. And I mean, till recently, you're still on the track, giving all these youngsters a lot of problems, on the track. And I mean, that's just the type of person that you are.
Yeah, I think track and field is a part of your life. It's a way of living, and I think one of the most difficult things for me is sometimes to realize there's a fine line between being a coach and still being an athlete. But I've got an amazing group of guys that I'm coaching. I've got so much talent in my group that it's actually, I sometimes have to pinch myself and say, wow, the talent that I'm currently working with is some of the best in South Africa currently. The testosterone and the young kid still inside of me still wants to run with and still play with these guys and try and pick up the same weights and try and do the same stuff on the track. Yeah. And then the next morning you wake up and then you're like, oh, what was I thinking?
Yeah. And I'm sure you were watching when I had Tian Kleinans on here, and it's exactly what I thought.
I don't know. Sorry, I don't know. Timber, who's that again?
Some talk.
Tian who?
You think he's a gymnast? He's a gymnast. I'm not sure, but he's in your
group. Yeah, Red Runner or something. I heard from him. Yeah, I heard his name somewhere before.
And I was saying you're the type of coach who's always challenging, and you want to race, and and I mean, I think that's good because it creates a lot of fun, and that testosterone and energy becomes positive energy at the end of the day, and the guys enjoy it. I see Theodore Young is saying Dai Kortian.
Yeah, the short boy with the big feet.
Yeah, that's him. Let's do a few welcomes, Shaun, and then we'll get into the rest of the questions. I see your boys are here. Naim Razak is here. Marium Furi, obviously Henry Ulifir is here. Theodore Young, Carmen Fushia, Jane Tipo all the way from New Zealand. QB is in here as well. We've got Ryan, Jono, Lizan. I won't get everybody, but I'll try. Anri Mulman.
Wow.
Hey, Anri, we need to chat. Tian Klenan says the SA shot put record holder. I think he's mistaking you for the hammer thrower, Chris Harms. I don't know. People are
yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah. You can see the haircut.
Yeah, welcome guys. Thanks for joining in. I'll try to do some more welcomes later. But yeah, before we do that, I need to get into a bit of your story and you know, how your track journey began. But before that, your nickname. What did they call you on the track during your Top Dog days?
I didn't actually have a nickname, to be honest with you. Maybe something that was maybe said behind my back, but not that I really know of. I think the main thing for the guys was always me being much older than the younger guys. You know, so it was always trying to get the old man out of the race. And but yeah, so now I actually kept on running until I was about 38, 39. I did my last World Champs, I think was 2009.
Wow.
And then I got injured. Yeah, and at that stage I was 38 years old. So I was very blessed with a very long, illustrious career.
Wow.
And then, yeah, shortly after that, you know, I settled down, started a business, got married, wonderful wife, 3 wonderful kids. Yeah, so you can see the married life is doing me good.
Of South African hurdlers, you know, Shaun Bownes is always that name. Even if you hadn't seen you, the name was always ringing. Shaun Bownes. It sounds good. It sounds marketable. It sounds like a name of a winner, you know. So whenever you showed up with your glasses, we knew. Whether it's world champs, or Commonwealth Games, or African champs, we've got a medal in the bag somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was always so funny that you mentioned the glasses. I can always remember the younger guys asking me, why am I running with the glasses? And I usually say to the guys, so that the other guys can't see how afraid I really am. So, you know, it doesn't show the fright in my eye. But yeah, the glasses were always synonymous with me, and I always, you know, enjoyed running with the glasses. It was a really nice touch. You know, Oakley sponsored me for 10 years, and I really enjoyed running with the glasses.
Yeah, it was also your special unique touch, you know, and I think that's what always makes it sits in the heads of South Africans as well. As I remember. Yeah. You used to wear the glasses. Llewellyn Herbert had the glasses. Ezekiel Sipag, and it was always like, you know, now it's time for war.
Yeah, focus. Business time. We're down to business.
All right. So tell us your journey. How did you discover running and hurdles? Did you always do hurdles? Did you do other sports? You spoke about ballet, and what else did you do? Were you always a runner?
Actually, I started at a very, very young age. I think I was about 6 years old when I started running. And I actually did sprints. And, you know, as we grow, we get older. And at a certain stage, I actually got too slow for the sprints. You know, the guys started beating me. Yeah. And the funny thing is, I tried hurdles in school. I never was good enough. And I usually always like telling the story to the younger kids, you know, because I think we live in a generation where so many people, you know, the guys, they want the accolades, you know, they want the performance. I saw a joke the other day where somebody trains for like 2 hours once a week, and then the performance is not there, and then they give up and they walk away. And then you got that person that keeps on training day in, day out, 6 days, 7 days a week, and still at the end, they turn around and they say like, did I do enough? You know, have I done enough? Will I make it? Am I good enough? You know, and And so what happened with me is hitting high school. In those years, it was still like, we had standard 6, standard 7. These days, it's grade 8, grade 9.
Yes.
I get still confused with all these grades. But the funny story I usually tell to the younger guys, I said to them, I was in a technical high school. So first of all, I think I was a bit too stupid to give up. I kept on going to the track every day training.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, from standard 6 up until standard 9, I actually wasn't good enough to, go past our inter-house meeting.
Wow.
So at the inter-high meeting, which is like usually, all the big fast guys running, I was the guy that was actually packing out the hurdles for the faster guys. And year in and year out, I would come back, and then after the house sport, I would fall out. And then the next year, I would come back, and then the teacher would look at me, and he would always go like, "Oh, are you back again?" And I was like, "Yeah, well, if I'm not going to try, I'll never know." And end of my standard 9 year, things started coming together. And funny enough, for my first time when I was in matric, I actually was chosen for the inter-high team. And from there, I ran inter-high. I went to SA schools, and I still remember running against Peter Hendricks, the Springbok wing. And he did hurdles those years though. So we ran against each other, me and Peter Hendricks. And and as life goes, in the final, I actually fell and I tore my hamstring. Then I finished with school. It took me about 4 years, just to get settled. I started working, to get my life back together and everything. And then the first time I actually won my first SA senior title was in 1994. I was 23 years old. So it took me from school, actually, like I said, almost 5 years to get into my own. And then I won the SA champs. And, from there on, I started progressing. And then my paths crossed with a school teacher, Tommy Ferreira. Later, I met him actually when I was standard 8. But then after school, we bumped into each other at a function, and he said to me, "Well, if you're looking for a coach, I'm prepared to help you." And we went through a lot of trial and errors. Those years, we didn't have a lot of info, so we did a lot of wrong stuff and a lot of right stuff. And eventually we came down to the point, I think it was end of 1997, 98. My first Commonwealth Games was in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur. And I was fortunate enough to be chosen for the team, even though ASA at that stage, they started playing the age card. They reckoned I was too old. I was actually 27 when I was chosen for my first Commonwealth Games. And I remember reaching the final, and I was actually ahead at the 8th hurdle, and then I crashed into the 9th hurdle. But in the end, I still ended third. I ran a bronze medal at my first Commonwealth Games, and I equaled the then Africa record. And from there it just escalated. Then 99 World Champs and my first Olympics in 2000. And I was just blessed and fortunate. Every year it went better and better. And then 2001, which was my biggest year, I was 31 years old, and then I ran it's not the old South African record. I ran a 13:26 in those years.
Yes.
And then the World Indoor Bronze. And, so I had a super career. I enjoyed it. I met so many nice people, guys like Colin Jackson, Alan Johnson, you name them. I mean, even back in those days, the guys like Maurice Green, the world record holder, Donovan Bailey, the previous world record holder in 100. I traveled with those guys.
Yeah.
Marion Jones. There's so many big guys that the names that pop up. And I was just fortunate enough, and I think I just pursued my career as long as I could, because I really, really enjoyed it. It showed me the world. It gave you a sense of belonging. There was so much benefits in the whole track and field. Meeting amazing South African athletes, from history, Okkert, Brits, Okkert Seyer. There was a whole generation of guys coming through, which I was privileged enough to travel with. Guys like Ezekiel Sapeng, we were roommates. We traveled together. We stayed together in Holland. There were so many awesome athletes that came over my path. And the nice thing for me is I can carry all of this over to my athletes. stuff that I've learned, stuff that I've seen, stuff that, that came across my path, and the way of living track and field, on and off, which I can carry and give back to my athletes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just listening to your story now, you came about it. It's interesting, and I think it's super motivating to hear that not everybody's journey has to be perfect. National colors at 27.
Yeah, that's true.
That's late. Most guys by then decided to pack up.
I'm a late bloomer.
By then most guys have packed up. They're in the office, and they'll always be sitting behind the office thinking, what if, while sending emails, what if I tried one more time? What if I kept pushing? What would you say is, you ran until 38, 37, 38 at a high level. What would you say was the thing that kept you, number one, that long? And also, number two, what made you decide, okay, now it's time to move on to the next chapter?
I think, first of all, like I said, it was more a way of living and enjoying what I was doing. I think once you stop enjoying what you're doing and it starts becoming a burden, and you've lost that love for it, that motivation, that inspiration, because anything in life, if you start doing it and it starts becoming a problem, then I would say move away. There were many times in my career where I can look back and say, I had a season where things went completely wrong. I had one season back in 2005, for example. The one season I was flying, the next year I was battling. Everything just went wrong. I was still getting the same. And then I realized, the motivation was gone. That feeling of, I want this. And then I backed off about 6 months. I took off, and I came back next year, faster, stronger, better, just because, I had to stand back and collect myself and get my focus back. And then when I started realizing, maybe it's time to stop, is when you pack your bags and you get on the plane and you get over in Europe, and you start thinking, I have to hang around and wait for another race. I could have done this, or I could have done that. And you start realizing, it's time. If you start calculating what else you could have done with the hours lost waiting for the next race, then it's time to move on. And I think it's just like anything in life. After a while, I remember one day we ran in Potch. It was actually so crazy. They were still advertising it on radio or something, and afterwards the people could phone in. And I remember this one old lady saying to the guy on the radio, "So when do you think this boy will realize he's too old, he needs to stop running?" And and my reaction was like, as long as I can still run, and as long as I'm still running fast times, and I'm still enjoying it, then I will keep on doing it. One of the media guys asked me one day, "So when will you quit?" And then I said to him, "Well, the day I run the perfect race." And then he said to me, "But that will be never." So I said, "Well, that is your answer." But unfortunately, we get older, time moves on, time doesn't stand still for anybody. And unfortunately, there is a time and a place where you have to realize, you had your innings. It's time to give back to the sport, and that's the main thing why I got involved in coaching. Like I said, I've got an amazing group of young people I'm working with, and that's even more rewarding currently for me than almost my whole athletics career. Seeing the guys perform, the guys getting chosen for the Olympics, for the Worlds, for the students, the guys performing, the guys winning national medals, the guys winning student medals. All in all, that is much more rewarding currently than I could say my whole career was, especially because whatever I do with the guys now and everything that I put in, that's a reward, because that's an extension of what I have achieved in my career. And so that's it's just an amazing, awesome feeling. Sometimes there's bad luck, sometimes there's down, sometimes there's no performance, so that's the backside of it. But that's part of the parcel. That's part of the whole. I mean, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said to the guys when they're puking on the track and they're lying down, they're crying and everything is hurting, I would say to them, well, if it was easy, the whole track would be filled with people.
Yeah.
But it's not easy. That's why there's only 10 or 20 of you.
That's true, Coach. Let's be honest. Let's just say it well on camera here. Who's doing the crying? I'm sure Theodore and Tian are in there. They do cry, don't they?
Oh, yeah, they cry a lot. Oh, yeah, they're like little babies, you know. Shame. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
see
but that's a story for another day.
I see Henry Ulifir says Mahon Selese van the comeback. Paris 2024. It sounds like you're making a comeback for 2024. Is that happening or not?
Maybe for the wheelchair downhill guy, 60 meters, but I don't think so. But coming to Andrew and Theo and the guys, I mean, if I may shout out to some of the guys in the group, you know, like I said, I've got an amazing group of guys. You know, like I've got a Paralympian girl with me, Liesel. We're busy preparing her now for the games. Andrew Olivier has left a comment now as well. Andrew was chosen for the world champs now for the juniors. He's in the relay team. He's going out as well. You know, then I've got guys like Tian and Tew, you know, big names already in the sprint hurdles. You know, then I've got on the women's side, for example, Inga van der Merwe on the short hurdles. You know, I've got Arne Rotenbach, she's from Namibia.
Yes,
you know, she's also a top sprinter. I mean, everybody knows Arne. And then I've got Kristen Fox as well. She's also 100, 200. And then more the younger guys, you know, like Jerry Fenter, he ran also 110 hurdles, bronze medal 2 years ago. John Lowe, he's a young guy coming up with the hurdles as well. I've got Miandi van Staden, you know, she's a junior champ as well. You know, so I've got really a very
group,
big, yeah, a very strong group. You know, I've got Tabiso, the young you as well that came in. You know, so I've got really a mixed bag of goodies, guys that are motivating, working hard together.
Yeah.
And I always say, you know, a group is good when the guys are almost like a family on and off the field.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just business for that 2 or 3 hours on the track. You know, the guys afterwards, you know, they go for a cup of tea or an orange juice or something, you know, at the at the market. And yeah, you know, hey, I've got guys that really look well after themselves, you know. No partying. Yeah, they're very, you know, very straight line guys. And yeah, so
are they
like
paying you for this? Some of this stuff?
family.
Are they paying you? Some of this comment sounds like you were paid to say. But I'll take it.
I'll see what the color of the money is afterwards. But yeah, but in general, you know, what I always say to the guys is, you know, what makes it so much worth it is, it's like I said, it's an extension of your family. You know, their dreams become your dreams. Their failure becomes your failure. So in the end, you actually walk such a long path with these guys. You know, 5, 6, 7 years. It all depends on how long these guys decide to study. And as long as they're at university, you know, they get their backing from the university. There are funds. You know, they're in a place where they can train, where they are safe, where everything works for them.
Yeah.
It's always nice, you know. And the nice thing of the older guys is when the young blood comes in, you know, the older guys like Tian Tu and the older ladies, I'm not going to say old girls, the older lady athletes, you know, they take these young guys and girls under their wing, and they bring them into the group and they make them feel part of the group. You know, so that's a whole culture that we're trying to build where we help each other. Nobody is better than somebody else. You have your pecking order in the group, but in the end, it all comes down to we try and help each other, and you know, we build it forward and we give it forward, we pay it forward, and the guys always try and help the new kid and the next guy that's coming in. For example, if I can take Henry and Theodore, for example. Both of them are sprinters. You know, Henry came in, the youngster. He's still grade 12 now. Theo's the elder statesman of the sprinters in the group. And, you know, the amazing thing is how he helped Henry, for example, you know, small things that I, as an older coach, would miss sometimes. You know, as the starting block, you know, your hips are a bit too back, your shoulders are not over the line.
Yeah.
You know, and each and everyone in the group brings something in that makes the next person achieve
Better.
above and beyond.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about, you know, working with all these guys.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, what you're saying is so important. And I mean, you know, one of the questions I was thinking in my mind is, what do we need to do to get our hurdles, you know, to a level where we've got, you know, I mean, we do have it. I mean, Antonio Alcano has been doing very good work. Obviously,
Yeah.
not the best season this year. We've had the likes
It
of
happens.
Leon.
Unfortunately, it's Olympic year, but it happens.
It happens, absolutely. The likes of Tian, he's jumped into that rank now where, you know, he can be looking to qualify for big major championships. The likes in the past, we've had the likes of Lian Fourie. Obviously, he broke your record, and he also went to go to Olympic finals and so on. So the guys are there, and I think the culture is there. Do you think there's something missing that needs to just make it click, or are we on the right line? It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. I think if you go look at hurdles in whole at this stage in our country, there is a drought, which was actually, you know, around for the last couple of years. Guys like Leon Fourie, unfortunately, when he just started running times, you know, he decided to start working and settle down. Antonio came through. Tian is now the next, you know, if I can say, the next guy on the block. You know, the king of the block, because Antonio is also already over 30, 31, 32 already. You know, and unfortunately, Father Time doesn't wait for anybody of us. You know, if you're lucky, if you can still run good up until the age of 33, 34. It all depends on what your future plans are.
Yeah.
But there is a hurdle drought currently, and I just think that the major problem for that is because it's such a technical event. And for a lot of the kids, I've started working with some of the smaller kids. On the women's side is you have the girls that are afraid of the hurdle for obvious reasons. You know, they're afraid of falling, afraid of bashing the knee. And then the guys, you know, also, it's a very technical event, and a lot of guys tend to give up because it's such a difficult event.
Yeah.
They would rather than go to the sprints. You know, it's easier to run 100 or 200.
Yeah.
I mean, if I take, for example, again, to get back to Theo, I mean, he's a 10-3 sprinter, but he started with me as a hurdler. And he ran a 13.9 on the senior heights, which is very good for him.
Yeah.
But in the end, you know, technical-wise, he was just much more superior in the sprinting.
Yeah, yeah.
And unfortunately, you know, like I always say to Tian, is he started breaking through now. He started running in 13.6s, 13.7s, where back in a year ago, we would be happy if he just broke 14 seconds.
Yeah.
So now, you know, he's running average 13.6, 13.7. So he's moving on to the next level. And that's, again, it took him, you know, 4 or 5 years to reach that point.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of injuries. There was a lot of trial and error. And I think because of the hurdling that takes such a long time to get a lot of technical aspects and all of those stuff sorted out, that's where the problem usually comes in. You know, as a lot of the guys, like I said, we live, unfortunately, in an era where the guys don't want to work hard or wait for a result. You know, they go to the hurdles, they struggle a bit, and then they give up. And you know, unfortunately, I mean, like I said, it took me up until the age of 27, the first time, to go and run at least a decent 13.5.
Yeah.
You know, and then it took another 3 years for me to reach a 13.2 only.
Sure.
And that was at the age of 31.
Yo.
You know, the average athlete at the age of 31 is already married, has at least 1.5 or 2 kids. You know, so there's a lot of other stuff going on in life, and not a lot of guys are prepared to wait that long.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, we are all stuck in the situation currently in South Africa is there is no program and there is no funding to keep that athlete on the track training. I mean, I was fortunate back in the day like I said, I had two major sponsors. I was with Nike and I was with Oakley. And the club I ran for also paid me a salary every month. Wow. And then I was one of the fortunate guys that, you know, was invited to Europe. And I made money, not a lot, but I still made enough, you know, to keep me going and to keep my dream alive.
Yeah.
But these days, if you're not part of any tertiary institute where you either get a scholarship or a bursary or somebody is paying you to train, I mean, what do you do? Most of the guys end their studies at the age of 24, 25, and then they have to start working.
Yeah.
And when you start working, then your track and field career is gone. I mean, I know so many athletes, so many super athletes, which are only coming into their own as a super athlete, and then they had to stop their career and they had to move on because they need to work, first of all, to afford a car, a house, you know, pay rent, buy food. And then suddenly, you know, then the whole ball game changes. Because now you're working a 9 to 5, and after a 9 to 5 job, who can go to the track and go do 100% decent training? You can't.
You can't.
And then it's just downhill from there. And that's the unfortunate thing. That's the problem we are stuck with. And I think that comes back to your question. Sorry, I took a very long detour.
No. Everything is...
to go back to your question of why aren't there no hurdlers? I just think... for example, to give you one of the girls, Inga, I mean, she's a super talent, but she's in a part of her semester and her curriculum now where it's going completely haywire. She's got so many other stuff that she needs to do now. There's a lot of practical, you know, there's a lot of other stuff that she needs to do now in order for her to get a degree. And when she gets to the track, she's so tired, you know, so she can only put in half a session, to give you an idea.
Yeah.
You know, so that's unfortunate because you need to train fast to run fast. You need to be rested 100% to give 100% effort in training. So my words to her every day is just hang in there, push through, because this will also end.
Yeah.
And then it's smooth sailing, but then you've done the hard work. You need to get to qualification. That's what I always say to the young guys. Is academy first and then sport second. Yeah. And then they look at me like, so what were you smoking? And I said to them, how many South Africans currently can we count on our hands, that can actually make a living out of track and field? Maybe 5 guys, if it's so many.
Yeah.
No, not even. But you understand what I'm trying to say. So that's what I say to these guys. Is track and field is a part of your journey. And once that journey is done, what then? Then you need the qualification behind your name. You need that degree. For example, Theo, he's got his degree. I mean, he's going to Australia. You know, I mean, he had a brilliant couple of seasons now. Yeah. And hopefully he'll have another good season. But in the end of the day, you have to look at the bigger picture. If we had a system like Australia, if we had a system like America,
the UK,
you know, a system where the guys get paid to do what they do. But now, to take an example, like again, you know, Theodore, for example, you know, he's got his like I said, sorry, he's got his degree, and now, you know, he needs to go start working because that's unfortunately the next step in life.
Yeah.
Ian, I think, is also maybe stuck in the same situation. Because he also is finished with his studies this year. So now, you know, what's going to happen now? Do you keep on running for another year and hope that everything goes better? Or do you start working and then do you look back at your life one day and say, what if?
What if?
And it's always that if, you know, that what if. But we have to look at reality. What if it's not going to pay my accounts? What if it's not going to give me a house, a car? You know, so unfortunately, those are all part of the obstacles that come into our lives.
Yeah.
But we need to work with it.
Absolutely. I mean, everything you're saying here is right on there, hitting the nail on the head, you know, because I mean, these are type of conversations you need to have with your athletes and all the young athletes you work with. Yeah. And it's the reality of South Africa until, you know, back in the days, I know, like clubs like Renmiester were sponsoring guys, Liberty, and guys that, salaries, if you can call it that. And
Yeah, I was with Thomas Night Liberty back in the days, and like I said, I got a decent salary. Well, I could actually, buy food. We got all our kit for free. You had no issues, and I was a part of USN as well for a while. So I got my supplements for free. I got my spikes for free. I got everything for free. The only thing I had to do was train hard and deliver a performance.
Yeah.
But these days, it's non-existent. All the money is gone. Everything is gone. And everybody just pulls up their shoulders. So what do you do now? So how do I keep my athlete motivated and say to him, well, don't worry, come train, do your best. But unfortunately, the only, how can I say, the only thing that you'll get out of it is your medal. So don't worry about the money. Don't worry about making a living out of money, out of running. So the consolation prize for you is just as your gold medal. Okay, you can move on. Thank you for representing your country.
Hey, but Shaun, this is something that we need to change, it bothers me.
Yeah.
And I know there's a solution. There's always a solution. These solutions are going to come, it needs people with your experience. It needs all the athletes that are in there. We just need to decide to say, hey, enough is enough. And it's gonna get better. But we're gonna have to wrap it up.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it will definitely get better. Yeah. Like I said, everything always changes for the better because there's a lot of talent out there. There's a lot of, especially after every Olympics. I mean, all the kids sitting in front of the TV watching the Olympics, seeing these guys. For example, if you take the 400-meter hurdles, the new world record. The upset in the 110-meter hurdles, for example, everybody thinking that the guy's going to break the world record and then he comes second. So I just think that gives all the kids and all the young people this motivation, this dream, this feeling of, yes, I can make this one day. If that guy can make it, if that old topic can still run at 31, then I can do it. So it's not all doom and gloom, to be honest with you. I mean, sorry for turning, negative and down.
No.
It's just sometimes you have to be realistic. But in the end, nothing in life was achieved without daydreaming or without a dream. I mean, everything in life starts with a dream. Yeah. I mean, I as a little boy had a dream, and I think that's what makes us come back to the track every day. It's that dream. It's that
dream.
What if, that next performance, that next big wow moment. It's like I always say to the guys, that one brilliant moment in time when everything comes together and that world-class performance overshadows everything else. All those negativities, all those bad moments, all those falling over the hurdle, everything going haywire. So I think we all do it for the love of it, first of all, and because we enjoy it, and it makes you feel good. It's just, it's like I always say to the guys when we do winter training, and they suffer, for example, like today again, I always say to them, you might not be the fastest, but you're going to have the best six-pack on the block and the biggest muscles by far.
At least.
So there's always a positive side. You might not be the fastest, but you're going to look damn well good, all the muscles.
That thing that you spoke about, and we're going to wrap it up. I'm expecting another call soon.
Okay.
It takes one moment. Shaun, one moment to change your life forever on the track, and that we don't know when that performance is gonna come. Yours came at 31.
That's true.
Or it might come later on. Who knows? Or it'll come tomorrow. So it's just. I think that's what makes this sport so beautiful, because nothing takes away from your performance. If you run a time and it's legal and the wind is fine and IAAF recognizes
that's it,
it's done. There's no.
I think to just to add to what you're saying is, not taking anything away from a team sport like rugby or cricket, but track and field is an individual. It's like you said, it's you and it's you alone. And I think that is what makes it sometimes so much harder, for you, because only you understand, if it goes bad, how bad it really goes. And if you win, I can remember, for example, my first Commonwealth medal. The media guy came up to me and he interviewed me, and I started crying. And he was like, "So why are you crying? You only came third." And I started laughing. I said to him, "Can you imagine how hard I would cry if I came fourth?" For that one moment, everything in my whole career came together over that bronze medal.
Changes
everything. All those long hours, all those puking, all that sore body, everything came together in that one moment. And that one moment took me, and that was my motivation to keep on going and see how far and how hard I can push the limits to achieve, greatness.
Absolutely. Shaun, I think with that said, we're going to have to bring you on again sometime to talk coaching and the technical side of it.
Thank you, my friend.
But
thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
It's been really good, what you've achieved: 13-6 African records, gold medals at Commonwealth, African titles, All Africa Games, bronze, all these things. It makes a difference, and we give you the salute because you served your country with distinction. So thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
And thanks for everybody who joined in. I see Supreme Hurdler, Rivaldo Roberts is also in here, and so many other people that joined, guys. Appreciate it. Inga, I see, is also here.
Guys.
And yeah, Shaun, take care and have a good evening. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
It was amazing. It was amazing. I hope everybody enjoyed it as well. So take care.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers, man. Bye-bye.
All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. That is Shaun Bownes with us in the building, the legend in the flesh. See you guys again sometime later this week. Take care and God bless. Nda. Yes, Shaun.
Bye-bye.